complain about stupid things I don't need to complain
You
about.
always complain about things.
Yeah, you do.
We don't need to complain.
I think that Ricksta is a complainer and that Rip is a contrarian.
You're always wrong about that.
No, Rip's not a contrarian. He's an idiot. That's what that
You're
is.
an
You
idiot.
can be both.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
contrarians more are... There are some contrarians that are smart, and then there are idiots. It's not the same thing.
Listen, there's no
Say,
need
Ricky.
to resort to name calling, Ricky, because then we can always pull out the short card.
Listen, I'm not trying to complain here, but shut the dumb.
Good intro, I guess.
Yeah.
We all just hate each other's guts. Ricky's camera is still not up. I don't even know what. He could be naked.
Yep.
Yep.
Double chili if you win.
Long time, I'm so happy.
I might have fucked something up. It's been 2 weeks. I forgot.
Did you really?
I don't know. Is the stream working?
It looks, the intro thing came up.
Okay.
I'm touching my nose.
All right, but I
Oh,
can't
yeah.
see you.
Yeah, I'm touching my nose.
Oh fuck!
What did you do?
Hold on. I'll fix it. It's a rookie mistake. There we go. Internet, what's up? It's Thursday. You're watching ATP Live. My name's Eris, and I blew it there, but you'll have to forgive me. It was just a tiny error. Whoa, what's all the typing?
It's not typing.
Because
What is
he's
that?
crushing his like Japanese
Oh.
bottles.
He's crushing it on his head. I could see Ricksta doing that shit, proving his manliness.
I was actually crushing this.
What is
What
that?
is it?
Oh, it's just the container that my dinner came in.
Big
It's
dinner, huh?
Japanese stuff, right?
Sure.
Damn, look at all the butt hash. Damn, your beard is getting long. Holy mackerel. Oh, he's out of here.
Damn it.
They're on to me.
What a jabroni.
It's working, right?
Yeah, you're good. Don't touch it.
You're fine. Move your body. Don't move the camera.
You're moving the
Awesome.
camera. He's touching it. You look perfect. Okay. Oh, boy.
Son of a bitch.
There he goes. You don't listen. That's the problem.
It's okay. It's fine.
He doesn't listen. Fix that shit.
Boom.
Boom. It's
Okay.
thinking.
Oh, you fucked it up. Restart the computer.
You
Rick.
think we're a couple of fucking amateurs? A couple?
Wait,
You
stop
think we're a
working.
few amateurs?
The hell is not
here. We're on the cusp of hitting episode 100 of this podcast, and we still can't sort this shit out.
How's it not working?
Spinning logo bullshit because you kept breaking it.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to break it.
Okay, well, what do you think is the best solution here?
He's back.
Let's brainstorm. Does he have to restart his computer?
No.
No.
I think you should probably just call me back.
Oh!
What?
Don't move.
I think he sees you again, Rick.
It worked. Don't even move. Okay. Ah! Close your mouth. Dude, speaking of
can't even
open
talk
mouth,
on this podcast anymore.
let's start the podcast with the most important news.
Hands
Pizza
up.
Hut's hot dog pizza was released today. It's June 18th. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment.
A tremendous moment in the America's history.
In history. We're combining two foods that, in my opinion, are top tier. And, you know, I'm excited. So here's the thing that's kind of confusing for me. Initially, when I heard about the hot dog pizza, I thought that the hot dog was actually going to go around the pizza the way the cheese is in stuffed crust pizza, which is also made by Pizza Hut. However, apparently someone wasn't reading the instructions, and now it looks like the hot dogs are going vertically as opposed to horizontally. So
They're like little mini sausages.
yeah,
Like a Gatling gun, dude.
they're like Armenian sausages, you know, very small. And, you know, they're pointing in the wrong direction, and I heard that there's also dipping sauce involved. So I'm very excited. I think I might order that after the podcast. I'm going to probably...
What is? Hold on. What kind of dipping sauce would you dip it in other than like ketchup?
I
Mustard.
heard that there's multiple options like garlic and creamy white throat sauce and barbecue sauce. Who knows what else?
Creamy
they have.
white thoat sauce goes well with hot dogs.
Yeah, dude, creamy white throat sauce and hot dogs are like peanut butter
You
and
haven't
jelly.
tried it, Rick? Dude, yeah.
So that's today, June 18th. What else? E3 basically wrapped up today. It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Lots of stuff announced for gamers across the world. It's been pretty exciting. I'd say if you compare it to like at least the last few years, this year was pretty buff. I mean, overall, the huge, gigantic payloads that were dropped was Fallout 4. That one was huge. Everyone loves that shit. At least everyone who is a human, right? Then they kind of mildly unveiled Dark Souls 3, which is cool for me. I'm basically just shooting off the things that I thought were sick. Obviously, Street Fighter 5, which we'll talk about in more detail in just a moment. What else was sick to me? Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 7. Even though it's not my favorite Final Fantasy in history, I mean, obviously, super hype, right? I was watching that shit. It was hype. And you're not hype? I'm not even that hype, and I'm
I got
hype.
excited for it. I haven't played it even. And I just
0%?
Yo! Yeah.
I mean, you know, I guess, but it's like something that like everyone's been like saying every year. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and it's like it's not like a big surprise, you know, because everyone has been saying it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
Like if they would have came out and said something like Chrono Trigger remake, like that would have been like, you know,
Xenogears.
that would have been the nerd jerk off moment, you know. But Final Fantasy 7 is like it's okay because that's the one game I think in terms of those old Final Fantasies, like I don't think it aged well. So it having a remake I think is good.
Yeah, I'm down with it. I mean, even if I'm not the biggest weeboo on the planet, I'm down with that. It sounds cool. You know, one thing I'm starting to notice, though, I'm really starting to feel like the concept of gaming in general is becoming old enough that the big cash grab is going to be remakes now. Because, like, you know, shit's getting old, we're getting old, and they can start doing things like, hey, Kickstarter for Shenmue 3, and then boom, we just pull our pants down. Yep, you got it. $10 million, Shenmue 3, make it happen. So I think that's, in the years to come, you're going to see that kind of shit happen. You know, even with Resident Evil HD Remastered success, they did this really cool exhibit, or whatever the fuck it's called, at E3, where there was like this train, and the lighting was really well done, and you could play Resident Evil 0 there in this really cool, like, setup. You know, where, I don't know what the fuck it was. I've never played the game, but I assume there's a train involved. And I'm intentionally trying to stay away from it so I don't get spoiled. But just in general, it looks cool. I mean, those are the things that kind of were, like, stood out for me as really cool E3 kind of related stuff. Did you guys see anything that was cool? Doom was kind of, I mean, I felt like Doom was whatever. Who gives an F, right?
I didn't get to play it. I mean, they didn't have it on the show floor or anything, but I thought that the trailer the gameplay was better than Doom 3 was. You know, like Doom 3 was like, it was really slow paced, everything was dark, and this was kind of back to its like shooter origins, I guess. But you know, it still wasn't fast enough for me. But I don't know, the chainsaw was cool.
Right? I mean, the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking like, okay, I already have this shit. It's fucking Destiny and every other fucking game, right? It looks just like to a person who doesn't give a shit. Let's look at it through the eyes of people who watch like fighting games who don't like fighting games, right? If you look at it through those eyes, it's like, okay, every other first-person shooter ever until the fucking chainsaw comes out, and that gimmick could run dry after a while, if you ask me.
They have a bunch of those like melee things too. Do they have those in Destiny and other things?
I mean, they have those in every fucking Battlefield game, and they have those types of things in everything. That shit's gonna become a snore fest, if you ask me. It doesn't have I don't know. I don't mean to be a hater, but the last ID Software game I played was the one where Hitler had 2 Gatling guns in his fucking robot outfit. That old-ass one.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
Wolfenstein.
I think it's, yeah, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, I think, is the one that I played, the first one, or second one, or whatever. Anyway, anything else at E3 that you guys thought was sick that we didn't bring up? Obviously, we're going to talk about Street Fighter 5, but just other
Star
games.
Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, that one looked cool. I
That was
noticed
super
that.
cool. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't really like Battlefield that much, and so it seems like the Battlefield game in Star Wars universe, right? The other thing that's really weird about it, like the trailer shows Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker at the end, right? And I was thinking, like, you know, everyone can't be that, so is that like a single player campaign? But then, like, I read something random that says that there is no single player campaign. Like, they're going kind of the Destiny, or not Destiny, Titanfall route, where
That's a good route.
Yeah, exactly, right? Whether it's like all the single player stuff is multiplayer. You know what I mean?
It
So, I don't
sounds
know.
kooky.
Yeah, I don't like that. I really don't like that. So
Well, you
see.
know what's funny is, that concept could be good, right? I mean, if you look at Dark Souls and Demon Souls, that's a single player is always online idea where you could touch bloodstains and get messages from other players and summon
Yeah,
people to
but
help
you
you.
don't have like. I mean, that's like a. No, it's not the same. I mean, it's a similar idea, but in this, it's like there's actually you have retards on your team like shooting alongside you. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
See,
your
the
single player
wordage,
campaign.
I think the wordage is very shady. That's the thing about these E3 shows. They're motherfuckers. They don't want to say the truth. They don't want to say things like the game runs at 60 frames per second or like, hard facts. They dodge that shit. I've been trying to follow things like, people who are trying to get info about games I'm interested in, and all the answers are always like super dodgy. It's obviously part of their strats. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how we asked Michael Murray and Harada a question, and they're like, boom, they parry that shit, and they barely give us like a real answer. It's like they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, anything else we're missing before we start talking about Street Fighter V as far as
I
games
mean,
at E3?
there was
Dope shit.
Rainbow Six. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. The Rainbow Six. What I forgot it's
Wow.
called. Siege or something. Have you played a Rainbow Six game or
Like
SWAT
in
game?
1965 when the first one
Exactly.
was made. When's Rainbow 7?
Dude, what?
I'm getting tired of Rainbow 6, dude.
You know,
Let's fucking go.
it seemed like they released like 17 Tom Clancy games. I don't
Didn't
know the
Tom
difference.
Clancy pass away too? Who's making these? Anyway,
Who the fuck is Tom Clancy?
I don't know. He might be a fictitious person. He might be a writer. I'm just kidding. He's a writer, and I think he passed away. So I don't know. It's kind of like those Colin McRae rally games. They used to be sick, and then he passed away, and now they're crap. So I don't know. Either way, I've never played one, and I don't give
Yeah,
an
that's
S
why
on
they're still making new Tony Hawks now, huh? Because he's still alive.
it. Are they still making Tony Hawks? I was just
There was
thinking
some-
about how that franchise is gone.
Didn't they say they were gonna make one? I don't know.
The last Tony Hawk I remember was the one where they actually had a skateboard that you stand on, and it turned out to be such a huge piece of shit. Like, you just want to kick it.
Was
you
that
know?
like on the Wii or some shit?
I don't know. I don't know what console it was on, but I heard it was a disaster. Anyway, whatever. Fuck all that shit.
Last Guardian. Anyone
Oh,
interested in that
yeah!
anymore?
Last Guardian is definitely one that's sick. That's the one with the dog with all the feathers, and it has something to do in terms of like a spiritual successor to the game with the horse, Shadow of the
Shadow of the
Colossus.
Colossus.
Yeah,
Right,
and
the same
also
developers.
Ico.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I've never played Ico. I
That
really
game
gotta
looks
get-
whack though, dude.
I mean, it does, but
It looks the same as they showed it like 5 years ago.
Which one? Last Guardian?
Last Guardian, yeah, they showed that game like 5 years ago before PS4 was announced.
I
even,
remember. I
right?
don't know.
And it looked like PS3, and now they showed it again, and it looked the same to me. Like I don't feel like it was upgraded even. I feel like they're just gonna put it out for PS3 next year. You know?
I mean, I'm neutral. There's people that are sucking that game's dick. There's people like you that are like, boo. I'm giving it a
Contrarians?
yeah,
That's
contrarians.
not contrarian, dude. That's just factual.
Oh shit. Okay, well, factarian. I mean,
Yeah,
you
dude,
heard
I'm a
it.
factarian.
I'm in the middle. I'll probably play it. Play it. I'll
Ply
probably
it?
play it, and I'm interested.
Play it already?
I'm gonna play it. So I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, okay, whatever. Fuck all that shit. Fallout is cool. I'm amped up for that. Oh, one thing I do want to mention before we talk about anything else is Fallout. There's something very, very important here. They were working on this game for like 2 fucking years and nobody even knew about it. There was only like a super mild leak that happened like 6 months ago on Reddit that nobody took seriously, but it ended up being legit. And all of a sudden, they unveil this huge game and they tell you, hey, everybody who's a huge fan of this, it's coming out in November. Suck my dick. It's already out. And I'm thinking to myself, there's that aspect of game development, and then there's Tekken 7, where it's like, that shit gets released in Taiwan, and we have to look at it on YouTube or thank the Lord-based Markman for bringing us one fucking cabinet at major events. I mean, it's really like the total polar opposite, and I think it's really cool. I think that the fact that that's how they're developing Fallout 4 is super dope, and I think fans of that franchise are getting their tummies scratched exactly the way they want to. They're kicking their legs because that's so sick, So basically, I'm saying standing ovation for that kind of business model. Speaking of dope business models, let's move towards. Are you raising your hand because you want to go to the bathroom?
Question.
No. I was
Ricksta?
just doing a pose.
Did they call you Ricksta in school?
Nope.
Oh,
That's what his teachers all called him. That'd have been tight.
okay.
Little Ricky.
Rick Steezy. What's the answer? Okay, so Street Fighter V. It was a really big deal. Today, I noticed that Markman twittered that Kanye West, who is a musical rapper, was caught there playing. And, you know, it's just a big deal. It's hype. It's huge, right? It's a big deal. And the way they're showing it at E3, before we even talk about the game, the way they're presenting it at E3 is super dope because you can't even fucking turn around without there being a station for you to play on. They're everywhere. Rip and I were waiting in line. We played, then we got off the machine and we're like, hey, you want to go for a walk, see what's around here? And there was machines that had no line. And we're like, fuck, let's sit down and play here. I mean, there were so many stations to play Street Fighter V at. I was thinking to myself, these guys are so awesome for doing this. The stations all also had Mad Catz TE2 sticks plugged in, so you weren't using some Xbox pad or some bullshit, you know? And I thought that was sick as well. Furthermore, they had this awesome stage setup where there was this marquee station where they could not only show this invitational tournament with all these sick ass players. I don't know what the fuck they're even doing there, or if they flew them out just for this or what, but Dago and fucking Magoo and Tokido and Zian and all these motherfuckers were there, and they were duking it out, and I was thinking to myself, this is sick. They had Ultra David on commentary. While we were there, we saw they had Lord Haunts there, and they were treating it as though it was like the competitive aspect of Street Fighter V is part of our main marketing strategy, and we want people to say Street Fighter V is a competitive game. That's what it felt like to me. There was no casual. Everyone in the crowd was treating it like it was a competitive game. The people in line were talking strats, even if they were total noob scrubs, right? And I thought that was such a cool, refreshing approach and angle to take at an event like E3, which is not, E3's for a bunch of fucking fat cat schmohawks, right? With ties and a bunch of Haradas and shit with translators. So I thought that was really, really dope. Now, on that topic, before we talk about Street Fighter V as a fighting game, I want to talk about this, especially in comparison to, let's say, Tekken 7. What are your thoughts on the presentation? You were there, Rip. What do you think?
I thought it was awesome. I mean, the one thing is when Tekken Tag 2 was at E3, that was way, way cooler than the Street Fighter V setup was. I mean, they had a huge screen, and they had this, a station for each player on opposite sides, 30 feet from each other. It was that big. And then, that was cool because, you saw the top players playing. It wasn't like a tournament format though, but you still had Rich on the mic, and that was all cool. But like you said, they didn't have stations with stick setup. You had to play on an Xbox pad or something to try it out. So that whole area had a bunch of Tekken Tag 2 setups. So that was really cool. But right now, Street Fighter V, it's so early, yet they already have all of this set up correctly. They've already got all the TE2 sticks out there. They've already got the commentators. It's so much more polished and ready to present as a competitive game.
Right.
So that was a really, really cool thing to see. Separate from that, I mean, the logo was gigantic on the wall. Sony obviously is back in the game. On their PlayStation Twitter, they just have this giant picture of that logo with one setup. It's just Street Fighter V, it's coming basically.
Yeah.
So it's really cool that they got Sony on their side basically, help push the game.
I mean, I don't know who's responsible for what, but see, the funny thing is the way you mentioned it, bringing up the Tekken Tag 2 E3. If you looked at it from the outside, the Tekken Tag 2 E3 had this gigantic castle. It was so huge. There was a huge stage. There was booth girls running around. There was Lamborghinis that had Kazuya on them. And there was this big, giant buff guy carrying a big-ass rim. You know, it was so absurd, right? But in the end, think about it. Think about what that really did. Did it really do anything? That was such a traditional angle. Right? Lamborghinis? That's 1980s traditional angle, right? But look at Capcom for this year, it's really they're thinking esports. Primary objective is this is a competitive game. Watch. This is how we're selling it. Watch this. There's stations everywhere. You want to get good at it? Turn around. They're everywhere,
Well, they also had the casual stuff with that giant stage that set up with the Matrix shots, with the Cammy cosplay.
Sure, yeah, they had that, but I mean, it was I don't know, maybe I saw it as the side note. To me, the main event, the stream, the thing that everyone was looking at was people like Justin Wong, fighting and showing what Bison is capable of doing now. I thought that was so sick. Watching Tokido fuck people up with crouching jab with Birdie was like, dude, this is tight. This is really entertaining. The game looks beautiful, and the way they're presenting it is so cool because it's introducing people to the idea of competition so early.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
initial purchase phase is competition level.
the other thing that's really interesting about that is, you said it looked kind of like a side note, that area with the Cammy and the stage setup where you can take the matrix shots. And it really was. It was kind of like, this side is for the casuals. This side is for everyone else who wants to see it as a competitive game. And in the middle, that's where everyone can try it out. So that was a really cool setup. And also thinking back to that, it was a really big ass setup if you count that stage and all the way to the player area. Yeah.
It was
cool.
definitely big. What about you, Ricky? Did you catch any of the stream?
I saw 2 matches. It looked fun. Looked nice. Looks like a next-gen fighting game. That's about it.
Damn, he's butthurt. Butt hash, the butt
Man,
hash
it's like-
on his face is weighing
Just
down
hearing
his
you
brain.
guys talk about it, I'm like, I wish I was there.
The dirty truth comes out,
I
huh?
wish I was there. Of course. I mean,
Jealous.
what do you mean? What do you mean? I was. It's not like I was like at home like I don't want to go.
That's true. You
I
definitely
didn't want to
were
go.
not.
I just had. I'm just a working man.
That's true. You look like one.
Somnatek's a working man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Solitech is a working man, even though he didn't even work this week. The whole week he took off. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just want to give huge props or shout outs or whatever to whoever was involved with that idea. I think it's such a cool idea. I think it's so I think it's a great idea, and I also think that it's a underused strategy for developers. And you know what? It does remind me, let me tell you something. In 2010, I went to an event called the WCG Global National, or whatever the fuck it was, and Tekken 6 was there. And at that time, a game called League of Legends was in its beta form. And some random ass motherfucker came up to me and tried telling me about League of Legends. And I was like, listen, buddy, I don't give a shit. And he was like, you know what? This is different. It's a competitive game. He was trying to sell it to me as a competitive game. And look what we have here. Years down the line, League of Legends is taking a dump on everything. So I like that Capcom is selling it as a competitive product. And I'm hoping it does well. Now, let's talk about the game itself. Rip and I got to play at a grip. So, Ricky, I think you're going to take the back burner here, but please feel free to chime in. Personally, when I first saw the game played at EVO, I was unimpressed. And I thought that it looked too much like Street Fighter 4. I didn't like the direction that they were headed in, blah, 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 negative city, right? This time, I feel like it has advanced. Someone said it before, 10 times. It looks 10 times better than it did at E3. And the interesting thing is, it looks to me like they got it right down the middle, where it kind of feels familiar to Street Fighter 4, but there is so much new in the simple things like whiffing a crouching strong or just doing a move like a sweep. The way it comes out, the number of like animation frames it has is really fluid, and it makes the game feel next gen. The way it looks is just really, really polished to me, and it makes me want to play it. It makes me want to play it. They look like little porcelain dolls. All you gross tentacle-ass motherfuckers on the internet are gonna love Cammy's fucking crotch. You guys are gonna be going ape shit. Every move that Cammy does, you could see her whole fucking cooter. I'm telling you, this game is legit. This game is legit. It looks gorgeous. It looks gorgeous, George. Your thoughts, Rip?
I agree. It looks really good. When I first saw it, I kind of thought it looked like Street Fighter or Ultra Street Fighter 4 as well. But seeing things in real life is always better. It's always different. And it looks really good. It looks really good. The models look really good. As you mentioned, the animations are way smoother. The gameplay mechanics are also so weird. Like, to me, having normals do chip damage to Street Fighter is like, it's crazy. I don't even understand it.
It's not even really chip damage. It's this new mechanic. It's a white health mechanic.
Right. I mean, it's sort of like chip damage, though, right? I mean,
but you can't die from it.
Right, but you can still die from supers as chip, which is also weird. Like, so somebody did like crouching forward fireball super on me, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna die from it. Oh, it's a super.
Yeah, like, but as they showed in that tournament, you can alpha counter out of a situation like that, and you'll live.
Ooh.
So I mean, there's the game. See, the thing is, a lot of people are asking me about what I think about the gameplay mechanics and stuff like that, and I think the game is going to change so much, right? That it's not that big of a deal to really get into that aspect. As I was talking about earlier when I was criticizing Doom, I'm trying to look at it from the perspective at this point, since it's not out yet, of like, I'm just sitting back and watching and observing. And to me, I think it looks great. It looks really cool. Especially when you're watching high-level players play it. It looks fun to watch, and that's really important. I mean, the details as far as white health and, the V triggers and the V skills and stuff, we'll see how it pans out. But one thing I did notice is it looks like they're taking a page from all these Guilty Gear and Injustice types of games where each character has at least some function that makes them feel independent from every other character. And I don't think that's a bad way to design a game, so that's cool. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean, the V triggers are very much. I get confused with what they're called right now, but yeah, the V triggers are very much like Killer instinct modes too.
Mhm.
It's like they straight copy that like directly. I mean, it lasts for a certain amount of time. It's unique to the character. It's got special properties for that character. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that applies to all the other characters that they release.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not bad design, So everything I've seen about it, nothing about it seems like, that seems whack. And on the other hand, the game looks great. And the funny thing is, because we're fighting game fans, right? And both of us do commentary on Street Fighter from time to time, and we have like our fingers on the pulse of this type of stuff, right? And to me, I just think it's very, very exciting. And we're also Tekken fans, right? So instantly the thing that I thought of is, okay, so we're here at E3. These motherfuckers are showing this game and it looks really sick. And on top of that, they're like, you know what? This is really sick. It's playable at E3. It's playable at CEO, but we're going to let you play it in your own home, in your fucking underwear, eating hot Cheetos in July. Pre-order it and suck my dick, everyone else, including Namco and Tekken 7. And the fucked up thing is, the thing that really chaps my butthole, like, super bad, is the fact that Tekken 7 has been out for, like, 6 months. Tekken 7's been out for 6 months.
It's been out
I'm
for like
gonna be
3
able
months,
to,
first of all, but yeah.
whatever, 3, 6. I'm rounding up because I'm butthurt. The
Yeah.
point is that we have to fucking we got a French kiss Markman for helping us barely get our hands on Tekken 7, while the business model is like, boom, Street Fighter 5, here's a beta test. Check it out. I mean, I just really, really am butthurt. That's the answer. I'm butthurt that the way they're developing Tekken 7 is so, like, different, and in this case, worse to me, so much worse than Street Fighter 5. I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Ricky, you go ahead. I mean, you're around. I'm sure you're butthurt about Tekken 7. How do you feel about the way things are panning out?
I mean, it's not good, obviously, just compared to everything. The fact that it's coming out after Street Fighter 5 is like a disaster.
You think it's a disaster? That's a potent word.
I mean, Street Fighter dominates America in terms of the fighting game community, and it's kind of just like feels like it dominates the majority of the fighting game community. So I don't know. It's like I'm hopeful that Namco, like this whole Tekken 7 in the arcade thing is like a very preliminary like thing, like maybe like how Tekken 6 was. We never got 6.0, and maybe if there's a big update that when it comes out to console will make us all excited for it again.
That's
but
an excellent point. That is an excellent point.
But I don't. It's definitely tough to think about it now, especially with all this hype surrounding Street Fighter 5. But maybe Tekken's gonna do something big and they'll make us forget about Street Fighter 5.
That is an excellent point. Go ahead, Rip. You say your piece. I feel like it's like so fucked up that we have to even endure this. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to what Ricky just said, I totally disagree with it. It's just how their model is, because Tekken 6.0 is basically Street Fighter 5.0 right the fuck now. You know what I mean? Street Fighter 5.0 already changed. Like, what's her face, Chun-Li's, whatever the shit is called, V-Trigger, whatever, used to do like double fireballs shit. That's just already gone. You know what I mean? That might have been her 5.0 thing, and now it's
Right.
Street Fighter 5.0 BR already. You know what I mean? Like, and people are gonna get to play it as it develops through the beta all the way up until it's released next year. So it's just a different model, and obviously, I've hated this arcade first model since we don't have an arcade anymore, right?
Right.
And it sucks. It's the worst. And Tekken 7 got announced first last year at Evo, and then Street Fighter 5 got announced afterward. And I said it then. I was like, I bet you Street Fighter 5 comes out before Tekken 7, and now it's looking like that might actually happen. And it's like,
It's not even
well,
that
shit.
might actually happen. It's guaranteed to happen.
It's slightly not guaranteed because, I mean, yeah, sure, they didn't announce Tekken 7 at E3, right? So, for a console release date. And they're going to revise the arcade, which maybe they could do in fall. Maybe they could put it out literally like a month, the same month even as Street Fighter 5 on console. Which, if they did that, I don't even think that's a good idea either, right? But it's still in the realm of possibility to me. So, I mean,
come on, man.
hey,
Come on, man.
I'm a hopeful guy. I'm a hopeful guy. But,
He's not wrong. I mean, it's not like Tekken 7's ever said like an official date.
Yeah.
The fact that there is no official date means there's still a slight hope there.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So,
Come on, man.
I mean, and I was thinking about it, like, people were hitting me up. They were like, hey, man, like, it sucked that Tekken 7 didn't even announce
Come
new
on,
characters.
man.
And I was like, why would they? That's so weak. Even NRS knows it's not a good idea. Like, what could they have? They could have shown some Predator stuff at E3 if they wanted to, but it's like, why? Just wait a week after E3 so all this other new game bullshit goes away, and then boom, pay attention to Mortal Kombat X again,
Okay.
So,
I think that the thing that Ricky mentioned about how we didn't get 6.0 and this could be like 6.0, I think that is the best possible case scenario now for Tekken 7. So the only hope left for Tekken 7 to not get its butthole destroyed by Street Fighter 5 is if the reason we're not getting Tekken 7 right now is because it's actually like a beta test for real. And they don't want to release it to anyone until they add the real deal to it. They polish it up, they add all these new features, etc. If they do that, and let's say it takes way longer, which it probably will, and the final revision, which we've talked about, ends up being some product that really makes us go, okay, this was kind of sick, kind of worth the wait, something about it that's worth it, right? I think that it could be saved. I don't think that it could be that big of a problem. But as it stands right now, I think it's so hard to swallow as a Tekken fan that, Street Fighter 5 is coming to our hands so much sooner. It's an antiquated business model, if you ask me.
I mean, going back, we talked about this at E3, and I was saying that Tekken 7 hit arcades in March. If we had received it in arcades here, we have a couple round ones, whatever. If we had received it in March, how much would we have played MKX? Like, it would have been like, oh, MKX is out, let's play that shit. Wait, there's a new character in Tekken 7, let's go check that shit out again. And then even while we were doing that, we might have been better at MKX because we would have been like, hey, want to go play MKX after this? We would have played offline more. But I mean, it sucks. It just sucks so bad.
We're gonna cry.
I'm gonna cry. Shit.
We're all gonna cry. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. That's the thing. You got to be realistic.
One more thing. You said that it could be saved if like this Tekken 7 is a beta kind of thing and they don't want anyone else to play it until it's ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that just kills it. Like, I mean, the fact that it's coming out after Street Fighter 5, like Ricky said,
Mm-hmm.
would be disastrous. I mean, the whole point of that, of coming out before Street Fighter 5, would be to try to get some of that audience, right? I mean, if the game comes out afterwards, you lose so much potential of getting that audience. So I think Ricky's right. I think it is a disaster.
Maybe if you're looking at it from that perspective, sure, I agree with that. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of, like, selfish perspective. I want the game, right? Mm-hmm. That's the perspective I'm looking at it from. We saw it at EVO last year, right? And now it's like almost a year later, and Tekken 7, like I said earlier, thanks to Markman and him really being like the liaison between us and Namco of Japan, we get it at majors, right? But look at what's going on for Street Fighter 5. It's going to be beta tested in our homes? That is so sick that anyone who's involved with that idea needs a high five and a blowjob. That shit's so tight, I don't know. That's the part that I'm looking at it from. It's like, dude, these guys are getting beta tests in their home, and I gotta go to combo breaker and final round and stuff like that. It's that's the part I'm looking at it from. That's a disaster to me, like in my heart as a fan. It's crazy. I don't know. I think this is in, like I said, if you're gonna be really, really realistic about it, I don't know how many more games this kind of strategy is gonna work for. It's not gonna work forever.
The way I see it right now is like Namco is not playing to get first place. You know what I mean?
They're not. No.
They're playing to like, hey, we have a Tekken fan base. We're just trying to keep that fan base.
Yeah.
But they're also letting that fan base slip away, I think.
In a sense, they kind of are. In a sense, they kind of are. It's funny because at the same time, if you look at the details on the game design of Tekken 7, there are some aspects to that game's design that make you feel like they're trying to get new people to like it, right? A lot of the aspects to the game are clearly designed to hold back legacy skill and allow a new player to compete against a veteran player. So why would they implement these kinds of design elements to a game where they're not even trying to get first? They're happy with second or third or whatever Tekken falls in, Overall, Butthurt City, that's where I live. I'm the mayor, I'm excited about Street Fighter 5. As I said, I'm involved, I do commentary for the Street Fighter 4, and I like a lot of the players, and I'm looking forward to trying it. But it's just like, as a fan, it's super hard to swallow this kind of design. And I don't think it will last forever. I think the consolation and the silver lining is that this kind of marketing strategy from scratch is so ancient that it will be gone soon. We're not going to see it for much longer. They're going to have to adopt this new style of developing games,
I felt like that in Tekken 6, and then they went to Tekken Tech 2, and they're doing the same for Tekken 7. So I don't think that they feel like they've got to change at all.
Ever,
Until those arcades in Japan are actually dead, then yeah, they keep doing it.
Well, I don't know. The way it's looking, it's hard to say how that's going to pan out. But
I mean, that's like 5 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is like 5 years. I mean, it is a long time. It's been 5 years.
Right.
I mean, dude, it was 2010.
Over 5 years.
Yeah.
It's over 5 years since this model that they've been using, and they're still going with it. It's
Well, not only that, but okay, so their arcade business model is ancient, right? This shit is like they're still using the same business model with time release characters that they had in Tekken 2 and shit, So okay,
which is cool.
It's cool, not bad, right? But the problem with it is that everyone gets to see the game before it's out, but they can't play it. And by the time it does come out, there really isn't any steam behind it, so it kind of drops in the ocean and nobody gives a fuck about it, right? So
Right.
that model is really old, right? I mean, it's an old model. It used to work much better than it does now.
It worked much better before because we had arcades
Right.
around the world.
Right,
So
exactly.
everyone could see the time release. Everyone could get hype at the same time.
Exactly. So the idea, we can all agree, is antiquated, right? And there are new ideas in play now. This is how the world works, right? 10 years go by, things advance. Internet gets faster. Technology, right? Laser optic. Who the fuck knows? Sprinkles. I don't know. The point is that, things evolve, right? And business models evolve. And I think that the fighting game business model of the one that Namco's choosing to use is so antiquated, they need to move on. And now look at things like Killer Instinct. We didn't mention it, but Killer Instinct got announced for PC, right? I think the idea of doing a game called Street Fighter or Tekken or Killer Instinct and not having a number at the end of it and designing it with the intent of revising it over and over and over forever is a much better business model than counting up to Tekken 7. I think that idea is gone. And I think that games like League of Legends have already paved this like really brilliant, successful method of developing games. And look at Killer Instinct is copying that shit, and it seems as though the success is crazy. Like, I don't know. The success of Killer Instinct seems good to me. They're like, okay, let's do this crowd-funded shit. Boom, it went 4 or 5 times our expectations on an old-ass game. And they're not even fucking selling anything new. They're just like, buy these old-ass costumes and shit. And we'll put all the money towards it. I don't know. Butthurt City. That's where I live. Basically. But yeah, Killer Instinct, that's one more thing we didn't mention. Another really hype thing. We've been talking about it forever. Killer Instinct's coming to PC. I'm gonna try it out.
And it's
At the
gonna
very
have
least.
crossplay. I heard with Xbox One.
Oh, that's another huge one. You know, these are like things that the company. I don't know how big of a deal it is for the company, right? Like, let's say a company is making a game. I don't know if it's like, oh no, we gotta do crossplay. Fuck it, we can't do it. Or if it's like flip a switch. But the fact that these people are flipping the switch is making so many people happy, and that's what you really want. You know?
Yeah. I think Microsoft Windows 10, they're like doing a lot of things right this time. And because Xbox One didn't sell as well as PS4, they really had to go back and say like, "Oh shit, how do we fix this?"
Yeah.
Whereas they could have just been like, "Oh, we're winning, whatever." But so now that they have to go back and fix it, they're doing a lot of cool things. Like Xbox One got backwards compatibility with 360 now. Like
Yeah.
it's super late and like no one cares as much anymore. If they had launched with it, it would have been a much bigger deal,
Yeah.
right? But I mean, it's still cool to see. I mean, I don't even know how they're doing it, whether it's like an emulator or what, right?
Mhm.
And the fact that they're allowing crossplay now on Windows, like people have been asking for that forever. And now
Right.
it seems like Xbox One and Windows 10 is going to have crossplay going forward. Like it seems like that's a real viable option now. So
Brilliant. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Shit changes, things evolve. You know, now we can start to play video games cross-platform and shit. And you know, someone in the chat mentioned not only is it cross-play, it's also get your buttholes ready, cross-buy. If you buy it on Xbox One, you have it on PC and vice
I did
versa.
not know that. So I already have KI on PC.
This is what I'm talking about. Look at Rip's face right now. Look
That's
at
it.
Rip's face right now. This is the
shit.
face you have when you're fucking happy, right? Think about the face I have right now as a Tekken fan, right? Think about my face. It's not the same face, right? I'm not pleased. This is the kind of shit you do for your fans to love your nutsack. Your fans will love your nutsack forever. Look at Rip's face. That's a nutsack loving face right
You
there.
know what, dude? Because I bought season 2 of KI and I really haven't played it much. And now to think like when it comes out on PC, it's gonna get this new boom of players and shit. Like, and I'll already own it. It's so tight.
This is what I'm talking about, internet. I mean, you gotta please your fans. What do you think, Ricky? What are your thoughts? Killer Instinct. You still pissed because you couldn't go to E3?
No, I'm
That's
pissed
what
I
it's all
couldn't
about.
go. I'm pissed I couldn't go to E3, and I don't have an Xbox One, so I can't even play Killer Instinct.
Damn. Well, don't
You know
worry,
what, though?
man.
I mean, it's been a long. I feel like it's been ever since they even released Killer Instinct. It was like, put that shit on PC.
Right, I
Right.
know.
Right.
And where's my PC version? Where's my PC
Right.
version? So finally, but there's no release date, right? So
I
it's
heard
just-
next year.
It's next year. Yeah, and the more interesting thing to me is that they have not announced season 3.
I'm
so it
sure
could
they
be a-
will.
so it could be a season 3 thing, right?
Yeah.
Who knows, dude? It's.
I mean, I'm excited
really-
for it. I mean, Killer Instinct was the one game that I've. I mean, I haven't played since it was at Evo that one year on display at like Mad Catz, right?
We're not allowed to play it.
Yeah, like I can't play it, so I want to play it just because I think it's an interesting game, and it has so many different like mechanics that we don't have in any other game or
Yeah, I mean,
on any other
the-
system. So it's like I
crazier
want to play
thing-
it.
The crazier thing is that Street Fighter 5 is like copying a lot of them. So it's when the game comes out on PC, people are like, "Oh, it's got that Street Fighter 5 mechanic," like
Yeah.
it's so funny.
I mean, it's like I'm over here, I'm sitting here as a Tekken fan, and I'm watching all these other companies that have their own fan bases. I'm watching these games like Killer Instinct. They got all these cool ideas, crossplay, this business model I like. I got Street Fighter 5 over here with this cool competitive aspect to the marketing. They didn't have any news, right? I mean, there was nothing at E3 for Tekken or Soul Calibur or anything. What was that wrestling game that we were talking about? Anything? Was there a Dragon Ball Z Budokai or some shit?
Hold on, yeah, I don't even think there was a Bandai Namco booth at E3. I think the only thing they had was that Dark Souls thing out of the front of the lobby.
Right by the fucking porta potties, they had like this weird fountain with these girls that were wearing golden pants, right? There was no fucking footage. They just showed. I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, internet, and I was so unhyped for this footage that they showed. It was from some kind of cinematic video in the game, right? In a game where you need to fucking look up the story because it's so ridiculous and confusing. You gotta YouTube the story. They're showing us a story video. Who gives a fuck about the story? Show us the gameplay. I can't believe that. And then they give you these girls with gold pants walking around to like distract you. Like, man, where's the gameplay? Ooh, let me get a picture. And all right, let's go look at the rest of E3. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Beal loves it.
Yeah, Bill loves that shit.
I think they showed off that Oculus check out my
Summer
virtual wife
lesson.
simulator.
Oh yeah, yeah, I heard
That's cool.
about
I think that was the reason why they were there, and that was it.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to E3 for one day. My back was super blown out, and I was just real grumpy. And I had a great time playing Street Fighter V and standing up and just like getting a couple games in. I tried out Bison. I think he looks like Ted Danson a little bit. I think it's really interesting to me how Bison looks and feels so different, but at the same time he looks and feels so new. So similar and familiar and new at the same time. His walk speed is so different. His walking stance is so different. It's usually got that broad, wide-legged stance, and he walks in a totally different way now. He's got this whole dictator stance like the whole time. And you know, as I mentioned, Cammy looks like a porcelain doll. All you weeboos and wall scroll collectors are gonna love her crotch for the whole lifespan of the game. It looks
Yep.
so cool. I mean, she looks
They're
so
gonna
cool.
patch it out. She's gonna have pants by the time the game launches.
Yeah, I heard there was some kind of two-player bug where Chun-Li was
Chun-Li.
shooting down airplanes with her boobs, but that's gonna get solved. I mean, the game just looks great. The game looks
It was like that Dead or Alive thing with the with the
The
controller just doing.
Yeah, dude,
with,
they
with, her-
were.
with,
Yeah, but
was
if you
sick.
pick Chun-Li on two-player side, she's shooting down airplanes, dude. That shit is hardcore. But I don't know. Anything else? What are we forgetting about E3? I feel like it was a pretty big event. Lots of stuff going on. I really thought it was super sick the way they had it set up. I keep S in their D's, but it was really cool. What else?
There's a new Xbox controller which I think might be good for fighting games, but not much more to say about that. It's called the Elite controller.
Is it official?
Oh yeah, it's official Microsoft controller.
there's a trailer for it. Like it had like I'm gonna just use this as an example. It has triggers in the back. It's like little pad buttons, I guess.
They're
There.
magnetic, by the way. You can remove them just by a magnet. It's crazy.
Whoa.
There's also I think it's like customizable, so like you can change the tops of the analog sticks to something else. The pad is really funky looking because it's instead of like having like directions like this, it's basically all like it's like one flat surface, but it's like
It's a
kind of-
satellite dish. It's not a surface. It's kind of like
yeah,
a spoon.
yeah, it's like a satellite dish.
Huh.
Spoon. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
it looks
in
weird.
that
I don't-
satellite dish, though, there's actually the 9 corners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going to say that historically, satellite dish design is worse than cross design for a D-pad.
Yeah, but
So-
this one's a little. This one looks
It's
different
different.
because like on the Xbox controller, it has the satellite dish. It has like the mold of a D-pad on it, right?
Mhm.
So, but the diagonals kind of have a dip down. This one it raises up, so it looks.
Yeah.
It's almost like it would look like a kind of like a really big flat analog stick almost.
Chat room saying $150.
That's
it's
fucking
expensive.
crazy expensive. But yeah,
Is it crazy expensive? I don't know if it's
$150
crazy
for a
expensive.
pad? I mean,
That's
the pad's
that's
cost like
two
$65.
games.
That's 2 regular controllers.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a lot.
It's a shitload. It's wireless, so
That's a
you'll never be able to
stick.
play it in tournament.
That's what I'm saying. Is that, I mean, I don't know. The reason you think that's too much is because it's so much smaller than a TE stick? Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, it
I
does
mean,
come with hellish shit, though.
that's the thing, like, I
and
feel
if
like-
it lasts way longer, it might be worth it.
I was gonna say, I feel like if it's a brand new design, I don't know whether it's good or not, but let's say hypothetically it's good. There a lot of research and development had to go into the engineering of the design. So I don't necessarily think that it's not worth $150, but it depends on if it's good or not.
Yeah,
Imagine
and it'll
all
probably go on
those-
sale for 100.
Imagine all those nerds playing and fucking getting so pissed at Call of Duty or some shit.
Yeah, man.
And taking their Elite controller.
Oh.
Oh.
Dude, I threw my fucking PS4 controller during whatever that dumb game was called. It's a miracle that shit didn't break.
You're lucky that game got canceled.
I know, I would have thrown my whole PS4. Jumped out the window. Okay, all right.
Why
I don't
don't
think-
what doesn't Rip talk about just like a bunch of the random shit that he saw at E3?
Okay, well,
Because you walked around a lot, right?
Yeah, I did. The VR thing was so before E3, a lot of people saying like, this is the year where VR is going to be at E3. It's going to be huge, whatever. And in terms of like size of the show floor that took up VR, I would say it's maybe about 1/12 of the show floor. So it's pretty small overall. Like the Oculus booth was pretty big. You couldn't get in, needed an appointment. Sony had Morpheus set up, but same thing. You needed appointments to get in. I overslept, so I missed it. So fuck that.
Nice.
They had another company there that was doing their own VR thing. There's a bunch of companies that had like the motion controls. Like everyone's trying to figure out how to do motion controls in VR, right? So this one company has like a ring you wear so that they can track your hand perfectly. The other one is like they have gloves for you so you can use your hands and whatever. So everyone's trying out this new shit, and it's like no one really has it figured out yet. And what that means to me is that VR is gonna launch next year. It's coming out next year. Oculus is launching early 2016 or something. Morpheus, I don't know if they have a release date yet, but I think it's also next year.
Is that
So
something
it's
for PS4?
yes.
Oh,
So
cool.
Morpheus is PlayStation 4's Oculus,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And so to me, that's more exciting because it has gaming potential, right? That's what it's designed for. It's a
Mhm.
gaming console, and you got a VR headset, right? But the more I've messed with it, like it's VR is I still really like the technology, but I think for games it doesn't really fit. And I don't know if it's just either that the game companies, the developers aren't showing what they're doing yet, or if they're so confused that they're just like making random bootleg bullshit for now, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of got this thing where it's like 3D movies, you know? It's like yeah, it does look better like for certain movies, but you really don't need it, you
Mhm.
know? So it's got that thing going for it. So that's really worrisome for me. But personally, I think I'm still gonna get like an Oculus because I think that PC, if it has games, it'll be on a PC anyway for
Potential is
Oculus.
higher.
Right, and you can do all this other random bullshit with it on a PC.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, absolutely. I'm not a huge nerd when it comes to that stuff, but when you brought over the Oculus, was it the Oculus to my house?
Yeah.
I tried out a lot of different applications or whatever the fuck they are, and half of them didn't even feel like actual games. It was just like, dude, you're skiing, try it out, or you're
Yeah,
about to get scared in the woods,
Those are
try it
basically
out.
yeah, it's just
Those are-
basically like like
It was like
indie.
indie stuff, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I made this shit so you could try out skiing on an Oculus. Like
I don't know if that counts as a game or not, but I'm definitely more interested in trying out all these different free things with the Oculus than I am forking over $60 for some bullshit Wario or some shit that's like, whatever. I'd rather try out the demos and the ideas that random schmohawks have. So,
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many like the ideas of VR is like the hardest thing is just obviously getting a game right? And like the only thing like me and Rip would talk about this and like think the only thing that would really work is a game where you're like in the game you'd be sitting down, right? So something like a racing game, an airplane game,
Yeah.
or like a mech game,
Yeah,
So
anything in the
those like
Mhm.
yeah, the cockpit type of games would work well, but. Yeah, anything else? Like, if you're trying to play basketball with that thing on, I don't think it'd work too well.
Damn, that
Dude,
would
they're
be
doing
crazy.
some dumbass things, dude. Like I saw a horse simulator where they had people riding a bicycle to simulate riding a horse. I'm like, are you retarded? Like, who rides a horse with their legs moving like this?
The
Like
idea of creating VR and then having the player do the thing that they're doing on screen in real life is the stupidest idea. People are gonna fuck their shit up like crazy. Baseball or something? Get ready to ruin your
the
big
fucking-
screen.
I saw a couple of those. There was a couple companies that had those things where like you're wearing a hula hoop thing and you're running inside this thing that holds you in place.
Fucking stupid.
I saw there was this black dude who looked like he was like a pro, like I don't know, some kind of pro athlete, right?
Mhm.
And he was wearing that shit. He was running for like a good solid 5 to 10 minutes around this like game world, and he had this like gun in his hand shooting things. And I'm like, that fool must be tired because I'm standing here for
Exhausting.
5 minutes and I'm tired, like yeah. So that's crazy.
Could
dude.
you imagine that? Like in Call of Duty, your stamina is your actual stamina. Like you can't sprint anymore. Oh, okay.
Dude,
I'm
and
gonna go prone now. I'm just gonna
best-
lay down
best
behind
would
this
be-
garbage can for a while.
Like if those foot sensors and those hula hoop things like measured your weight and they represented you in game based on your weight and shit.
Dude, I'm
Oh,
in
we got
trouble.
a fat guy on our team. We're screwed.
Yeah,
You know?
we're screwed.
That would be sick.
Damn, Ricky in a basketball game? Uh-oh.
Oh man.
Trouble. Yeah, I don't know. VR, it's way off, but, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever. We'll see how it goes. I'm mildly interested because I have a PS4, and,
Mhm.
it doesn't see... I'm sure the good thing about it coming to PS4 is I don't think that the price point will pull your pants down. I feel like on PC it could be $1,000,
Well, yeah, because you need the graphics card and stuff. But the thing is, like, say Morpheus when it comes out to the PS4, it's still gonna cost like I bet $250, $300 something.
Yeah, that's more reasonable
But I
than
think-
$1,000.
I think that's the same as Oculus will cost.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
they're gonna be about the same price.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. Something to keep your eye on, I guess. What else? What did we forget? Evo's coming up. We could talk about events that are coming up. I know CEO, I think, might be next weekend or
No,
2 weeks?
no, it might be next week. I
Like,
don't know.
next weekend, yeah, not
Yeah.
this week, but next weekend. Yeah.
CEO, that's Community Effort Orlando,
You know
I think it is.
You know what we should really look at?
What?
I know Malice. He's in your chat, right? Malice
Mm-hmm.
has a calendar up on his. Like he made a calendar of FGC events.
Nice.
So you should, if he
Throw the
links
link
that in
up.
there,
Throw the link up in the chat room.
so we can
Um,
all know when to watch streams and shit.
right. Or call me crazy. Go to events.
No, that's impossible.
Nah, fuck that. Yeah, online only. But yeah, so CEO, that's coming up. Keep your eyes open for that. I think Spooky's streaming it along with a bunch of other streamers, I'm sure, doing side events. Evo is coming up. That's something very important you should keep your eye on.
1 month.
2,000 players.
Yeah, over 2,000 players for Street Fighter 4, a game that came out in 2008.
That brings up the question of what's gonna happen with Street Fighter 4 next year.
You know, that's an interesting idea. Who's to say that Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 5 can't be games played at EVO? It's not unheard of. Tekken 4 and Tekken Tag 1 were played at EVO. Also, CVS 2 and Third Strike and, other games that had 2 iterations when they were popular enough and different enough. So
Yeah,
it's not
I mean,
unheard of.
I'm sure Street Fighter 4 will be there for like maybe 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it's gonna be like one of those games where it's gonna be, uh, can it stay side by side, or is it gonna fall off like Third Strike did? You know,
Yeah, who
but
knows?
that's for in the future
Or
years. We'll find out
will
later.
Street Fighter 5 fall off? You never know. It could be
Yeah.
it could be whack.
The,
I
ne-
mean,
the
we're
next
over
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
exactly. We're over here sucking on the game's D because it looks great now, but who knows when they announce gems or fucking like I don't know what they could announce for it. You never know. You never know. It's just so far so good. All signs are pointing to Boner City.
What do you think about Street Fighter 5 in terms of how new players are going to receive it?
Well, I mean, I don't see anything about it that looks like people would receive it poorly, right? I mean, the presentation is really well done. Cammy's showing her cooter the whole time. The ultras are cinematic and gorgeous. I mean, the game looks fantastic. And as I said earlier, it's being presented as such a competitive product from day one, foot in the door to everyone. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it could be received poorly, at least from what we've seen so far.
The impression I get right now is that the skill gap is going to be larger in 5 than 4.
Right. But the thing
Between
is,
like new players and veterans.
You're
So
right.
I feel like when new players go online, they're just going to get stomped harder.
well, that's the
That
thing.
to me is a little scary.
I
about
think
it.
one thing that's really important to remember about this type of thing is that it doesn't really matter what the skill gap is. If the game's designed well enough, it's designed in a way for a shitty player to feel like they're a fucking champion. And that is what I think that Street Fighter 4 does very well. I know this for a fact. Charles' brother, he's the guy that named Snake Eyes Dragon Eyes, right? This guy, he doesn't know anything about Street Fighter. I've watched him play online, and he picks Ryu, and he just does uppercuts and taunt over and over, and he thinks he's fucking Daigo every time he's doing it. And it's because Street Fighter 4 is designed in a way to make people like fucking Brian feel like Daigo. It's the game's design. It makes you feel like a hero. So it really doesn't end up mattering what the skill gap is. As long as a new player can go in and do an ultra and do 50% for no reason, they're gonna feel like $100. And speaking of which, the damage output is crazy high in Street Fighter V. And I suspect, and other people have mentioned this too, that is to appeal to random nubs, right? I mean, you're gonna hit an ultra and do 50% and be like, I don't even care if I lose. I got you with that sick ultra. I'm a champ, you know. So the game design so far is so good. I give it a Goro. 4 thumbs up. I give it a Goro, dude. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, internet right now, it's rough. It's not looking so good for T7. I'm hopeful that the thing that Rixta mentioned is what happens. That they're really using this as a beta test, and the real Tekken 7 that drops worldwide on console is going to be a big difference. And it could happen. It could happen. Okay.
Dominion?
Oh yeah, Yomi and Dominion. I think that's really a huge topic. And Slayer has hit me up in the past to kind of like have one of those guys on the show to discuss the idea. Maybe we'll save this topic for another episode. But we did want to touch on the idea of Yomi Gaming coming out of Atlanta and being like a competitive gaming house. This is something that I don't think has really, in a serious way, happened yet for the fighting game scene. So I think it's something that's worth kind of taking a glance at, but perhaps for another day. I think we wanted to just cover the E3 stuff. And for me, the big butthurt news was really how Goro Street Fighter V is versus the game that I want to play, Tekken 7 right now. So I guess we'll talk about that another time. Anything else that we're forgetting before we call people bitches and shit?
I mean, it's minor, but Killer Instinct, we talked about it coming to PC, but it also just got a story mode released finally. So if any of you guys like Killer Instinct, story mode is finally out. So you guys can check that
What?
shit
So you
out.
can learn the lore of Jago and Mago?
Yeah,
Jago
dude.
and Mago. I mean, yeah, dude, all that shit is good, man. People love story modes, and it just comes out, boom, you have it on Xbox, you're going to have it on PC. It's like super dope, super good ideas, and I hope that, I don't even have to hope. Namco will copy them eventually. It's just going to take them a while to realize that the arcade business model is fucking kaput. So, anyway, go ahead and plug your stuff, and then we'll call people bitches. I got to really think about who's a bitch. Someone's a bitch.
You better put a lot of toppings on that pizza, player.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put 3. It's $11.99 for a large, but I'm gonna put 3 toppings on it.
I'll say this though. I looked at
Oh, the hot
Malice's.
dogs?
I saw Malice's picture of the pizza, the hot dog pizza thing, and it looks like the hot dog things are so big, and like the actual like pizza itself is so like small and thin. Like if you try to pick it up from the hot dog, you're just picking up hot dogs.
I'm not sure on the rules of engagement when it comes to the hot dog pizza because I'm new, but it might be one of those scenarios where you're supposed to peel out or pick out the hot dog and dip it and eat it, and then you have a pizza left with no crust.
What I think you should do is take off the hot dogs and put it on top of the pizza.
Or I was thinking, I don't know if structurally it'll work out this way, but I was thinking I'd roll the dog, and wrap it with the pizza itself.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
what I'm
create
saying.
this weird, like, pizza hot dog taquito. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of questions that need answering. That's going to happen later today.
Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that stream.
Yeah,
Are you going to stream it? Like
yeah,
you
I'll
eating
stream
it?
it. I'll try. I hope.
Alright.
I don't usually eat in my room, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, so go ahead. Plug your channels. Rip, you go first.
All right. You guys can follow me on Twitch and YouTube.com/levelupyourgame. I stream and I make videos.
What the hell was that? You sounded like Samantha, the donation lady.
Oh, sorry.
Kappa, bald spots 420.
I like how
Yep.
she always has to take a breath too in the middle of all those kappas.
Yeah.
Cap.
She's got to breathe. So
And she
yeah,
also
level up
sounds
your
like tired
game
of saying it.
on Twitch. Level up your game. Make sure you follow Rip. Go ahead, Ricky.
Follow me on Twitch and Twitter at RickSteezy. Same name as my Twitch.
3 E's.
RickSteezy.
We're out of practice on this.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I took a week off,
1 week
man. I was
off and
sick.
we're fucked up. And yeah, that's it.
Cool. Make sure you follow him. 3 E's. Do we have bitch callings?
I got one at least.
Go ahead.
Which one was the conference with Aisha Taylor?
Oh man, I think that was Sony.
No, that was Sony. That was a
like Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was the one with all the French people. Everyone was French.
Yeah.
It's Ubisoft.
I guess. I don't know.
So that was the one I was listening to it because I was working, right? So, man, like Aisha Taylor, it's okay, she's I don't know what she does up there, but she has to be a host, so I'll give her a pass, right? Who the hell decided to put Jason Derulo as the singer and have him perform up there? And man, his singing live is so shitty. It was hilarious.
Who's Jason Derulo?
He was the guy that was singing. The
black guy? I
guy.
thought that was some weird rock band thing where he was like selling a game or some shit.
He
I thought
was
he was like a
selling-
fan.
It was funny too, because like everyone, like you people were listening to it, right? Like, who the fuck is this guy? And then like afterwards, it's like Wow, so your hit's #1 on the charts right now. Like, yep. It's like, this is what America's come to? Like, we're listening to this motherfucker?
Yeah, it was
Ugh.
it was rough. I agree with you. Aisha, she also I've seen her do a lot better in the past. It seemed
I
like
think
this
she was
time.
pretty good last year.
Yeah, she was solid, but this time she really hit people with like sexual innuendos very quickly. Like she just really hit people with sexual innuendos, and they were super nerd level dudes, right? So they were like, "Uh-oh, I'm not ready for this strat. I'm out of
Trying to
here."
hide my boner.
They had to like really shut down there. Man, some of the people were so nervous that we were watching. It was rough. It was rough. I don't blame them. It's really hard doing public speaking. I've done it many times, believe it or not. But it's tough, and some people are not cut out for it. But yeah, I mean, whatever. Yeah, she's a bitch, I guess. And that other guy, who is he again?
I
Jackson
didn't call her a
Derulo?
bitch.
Who's a
I
bitch?
just called
Then?
Jason Derulo a bitch. She was okay to me because, it's tough. What can you do?
They
Oh
should
my
have
God.
got Billy Crystal. I like him.
I don't think Billy Crystal does anything other than go to Clipper
Dude,
games.
I saw freaking Tom Arnold was there right next to Street Fighter 5 booth. He was in that little not indie, but the little section of
Who the fuck
dance.
is Tom Arnold?
He used to be Roseanne's husband.
What is
You
he
got-
doing at E3?
I don't know. He was sitting there interviewing someone, dude.
Dude, you know I have actually met and played Gary Coleman in Tekken Tag 1 in like 1999 at E3.
Whoa.
It's true. I played Gary Coleman before he passed away at Tekken Tag 1 at E3. Sometimes we get random heroes, you know?
Wow, so Tekken must have been really popular with the celebrities because there was a picture on Twitter of like the first ever E3, and people were like, "Is this gonna be a hit or something?" Like they weren't sure if it was gonna take off. And then there's a picture of Michael Jackson playing Tekken 1 or 2 on the
Damn,
arcade.
Mike, the king of
Oh,
pop.
yeah, he's playing Law, dude. He plays
Yeah.
Law.
He was playing Law. It was just a picture of Michael Jackson and a bunch of
can't believe
nerds
that.
in suits, and they were just like, "What the hell just happened? Maybe this is gonna be good."
That's crazy. Well, I don't know. There's all these tier lists too. I think that's pretty interesting stuff too.
Oh,
but
yeah,
we'll
people
catch
want
that
to
stuff
talk
later.
about
I
that.
think. Do you have a bitch calling rip?
I don't think so. It's been a long time, and I should have had one, but I can't even think of anyone who would be a bitch right now.
You know what it is. I mean, there are bitches, right? There are bitches in my day-to-day life, but I get so pissed off sometimes I have to really like block them out. I try to just not remember it. These online players, oh man, that anyone involved in the development of the online aspect to MK10, oh man, you guys are all bitches. You guys are all bitches. You've brought so much displeasure to mankind. It's really like this is a huge cloud over your your soul. You have to make up for this. It's unacceptable that I'm gonna be playing this shitty netcode for I don't know how long. You owe me one. Whoever you are, you owe me and the rest of mankind an apology. You're a bitch. I mean, you fucked it up. It's bad. It ruins my butt. So
Yeah,
that's the only bitch for me.
My one related to that semi is going to be Namco then for not releasing Tekken 7 in arcades in America that has arcades. I mean, if you're supporting an arcade scene, then support an arcade scene. You know, like
That's
we don't have
true.
a ton of arcades, but I mean, if you're just gonna let them die, then you're just killing the arcade scene anyway, right? So, and the only reason that I can see why Tekken 7 is not in U.S. arcades is because of the netcode thing, right? Like they're scared that maybe America's internet arcade to arcade sucks, and if that's the case, release it with offline. You know,
Right, yeah.
we can do that. We're okay with that. You know,
It
we're not gonna
definitely
complain. We don't have
exists.
online play.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. That's a solid bitch calling, too. I mean, whatever. Fucking butthurt city. I gotta cheer up with this hot dog pizza, basically. It's the only way to do it.
I
So
can't wait.
I'm gonna order that and get that sorted out, and I'll be back later with that. But I think that's gonna wrap it up, Internet. Thank you, boys, and we'll catch you guys later, Internet. Take it easy.
Peace.